So we'll try to enter into the text of the Gita after the introduction. All of you know the Gita contains 18 chapters, and altogether there are 700 verses. A verse meaning a two-liner, and the chanda, the meter, is Anushtup chanda. Anushtup is a very important meter verse. Ramayana, Mahabharata, they were all in Anushtup chandas. And the language is extremely simple, straightforward, very easy to comprehend. With some basic school knowledge of Sanskrit, anybody should be able to read and understand the Bhagavad Gita. Some of the greatest texts in this world are the simplest. Shakespeare, for example, is lauded as one of the greatest of poets, but his language is so simple, so straightforward, and so simple. And the smallest chapter contains 20 verses, which is the 15th chapter, which contains 20 verses, and the 12th chapter, which contains 20 verses. And the largest, of course, is the last chapter. It contains 78 verses. And the average is around 30. Now, every chapter ends with a colophon. You understand what is a colophon? C-O-L-O-P-H-O-N. Colophon means a kind of statement which repeatedly occurs at the end of each chapter. And every one of the chapters has a colophon. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya. Can you get it on the screen? The end of the chapter? The Bhagavad Gita is called the Upanishad. In India, in spiritual parlance, you distinguish in two kinds of scriptures. One is the Shruti, the other is the Smriti. Shruti.
Or should I erase?
Yeah, you can erase them.
Let me give you a clean board.
That's what we are looking for. The clean board. The Shruti are the Vedas. Of course, the Upanishads are the end of the Vedas, called Vedanta, the end of Vedas. And the Smriti are texts which follow the Shruti, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. The Upanishads teach the essence of the spirituality, but they are illustrated by the Smriti, by anecdotes, by stories, by explanations, and so on. The Smriti is subject to time, space, and changes. The Smriti which existed 100 years ago, that may undergo change. But the Shruti does not change. Shruti, the Vedas, they teach eternal truths. Certain eternal truths don't change. Customs change, habits change. So you should continuously modify the Smriti. In many religions, unfortunately, the Shruti and the Smriti are mixed up. whether you should wear this or not wear that, whether you should follow this particular custom or not. In some religions, it is considered to be religious sanction. Vivekananda said it has nothing to do with the social customs. Social customs may have some sanction of religion, but they are not sacrosanct. They are not sacrosanct in the sense, it is not that they are unchangeable. Things always keep changing. Sri Ramakrishna ate certain kinds of food. But in the West, you offer him cakes. In the southern part of India, we offer him idlis and dosas. So one Swami, who was a pujari, got very upset when he went to the south for a dedication of a temple. Those people, these women, very smartly cooked some idlis with sambar and offered to Sri Ramakrishna. He said, "Do you mean to say Thakur shakes idli?" Then I told him, "Maharaj, you are Thakur, who was born in Kamarpukur and then died in Kashipur. He has now become universal. He is tired of your luchis and sukta. He wants to take idli for a change. Why do you prevent him?" So these are called customs. In the West, you offer cakes, whether Sri Ramakrishna ate cakes. If he were offered cakes, of course he would have accepted them. Suppose, imagine Ramakrishna coming to USA. He has come in a subtle body, and you would be very happy. You will tell Hridu, can you give me some cakes, cookies? I was imagining what would have happened if Ramakrishna had come in his body, in that form in which he came, to the Parliament of Religions. Imagine Ramakrishna traveling in the ship to the Chicago Parliament. Breaking news in the newspapers would be, the Hindu representative jumped into the sea. He would see the blue sea, reminded of Krishna, and jump into it. Or, now we have Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the Hindu representative. Ramakrishna will go there, he will be in Samadhi. So it was not possible for Ramakrishna to perform these actions in the body in which he came. So he chose another body to perform these functions, which is the body of Swami Vivekananda, the same spirit. So the smritis keep changing, the customs keep changing, and the interpretation of the Shruti also keeps changing. Customs, manners. So you chant the Arati in English. Is this acceptable? Orthodoxy will say no. It should be exactly chanted in the way it was composed, in the way it was being sung at Belur Math or elsewhere. You smartly say, "Oh, breaker of world's bondage." When I heard it first, it appeared very curious. But these are smriti, according to the custom. In Spain, perhaps they will chant it in Spanish. But there are certain fundamental things which don't change. Don't say, "My Ishta mantra you should give me in Spanish or English." That should be only in Sanskrit. Om has to be Om, whether you're in Spain or England or France. So these are called Shruti, the fundamental things. Now, the Gita being part of Mahabharata is called a Smriti. But the Gita contains the essence of the Upanishads, as I told you. Upanishads being the cows, Sri Krishna being the milker, takes the nectar of the entire essence of the Upanishads in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is also considered to have the status of the Shruti. In India, there are three kinds of universities. One is the central university, run by the central government. The second is state university, run by the state government. The third is deemed to be universities. That is a very interesting concept. Certain institutions who have grown up over the years doing excellent work, but unable to award degrees because they do not have the university status. For some historic reasons, they could not become universities, could be declared by the government of India on advice of University Grants Commission as deemed to be universities. The first and glorious example was the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, which came under the inspiration of Swami Vivekananda to Jamshedji Tata. Now, the Vivekananda University, of which I am the head, also belongs to the category of deemed to be universities. So the Bhagavad Gita is deemed to be Shruti. Although it is not the Shruti in actuality, it's a Smriti, but it can be called a Shruti, is deemed to be Shruti. So he says, Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu. This is Saptami Bahuvachana, the plural of the seventh case ending, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is that Upanishatsu, that is in plural. Why is it used in plural? Although it is singular, Gita is a single book. In Sanskrit, Gauravarthe Bahuvachan we say. If you want to show respect to somebody, or some book, or some text, you use the plural. It's very common in India. They will always use, when Swamis come, and they will only use the plural. In English, it's called the royal we. You have heard of the royal we? The British Queen and the British King will never use the word I. We means the royal we, that means I. Glorifying oneself. In America, the I is very common. Everybody begins with I. In Sanskrit, the I is always toned down. We use the passive voice. So Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is an Upanishad, there are two significant words which contain the colophon. This is common to all the chapters. Could you get it on this screen? It is not there. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. The Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. Vidya is knowledge. Brahman is Brahman. The supreme reality called Brahman. So we can call it in the modern parlance as the science of Brahman. The Bhagavad Gita teaches the science of Brahman, and Yoga Shastra is the technology. We always now talk about science and technology. Science gives you the theoretical knowledge of the reality, and technology gives you the process by which you attain to that supreme state. And interestingly, unlike Yoga Sutras, the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which are Yoga Shastra, they give the technology, or the Upanishads, which purely talk about the science, Bhagavad Gita combines both. It is a textbook of the science and technology of Brahman. In one word, if you want to say, it is a text of the science and technology of the supreme reality. So Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre, it is Brahma Vidya, the science of Brahman, Yoga Shastra, the technology of how to realize that Brahman, and Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Sri Krishna is Narayana, our God, as I said, and Arjuna is man, representative man. It is a dialogue between man and God. If man and God talk to each other, what will be the result? It will be the result of the result will be the Bhagavad Gita. Man constantly is searching for something higher, and who will guide him? God alone can guide man. Remember this one truth in the Hindu Shastras. None else except God himself is capable of guiding humanity to spiritual heights. No amount of human help, all the human gurus are only channels of God's power to flow. That's why in the famous prostration to the Guru, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Remember, that does not mean Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu, Guru is Maheshwara. We make that mistake. It does mean Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara's power is flowing through this Guru. Sri Ramakrishna gives a famous example. In India, we used to construct houses. We have rain pipes. When rainwater falls on the roof, it is being channeled and brought down through rain pipes. And in order to make it artistic and beautiful, they put a cow's mouth, or a horse's mouth, or an elephant's mouth, so that a child will think it is the water is coming down from the mouth of a cow or an elephant or a horse. In exactly the same way, Sri Ramakrishna says, a particular guru may inspire you spiritually, but it is only a mask through which the power of God is flowing. God's power is flowing in a small way. In a very powerful guru like the incarnation of Sri Ramakrishna, he is like perhaps a huge pipe, conduit, and like torrents, like a waterfall it can flow. And some other guru, we know we don't need so much of water. We need only a small amount of water to drink or to bathe. So a small pipe is okay. So if you open the pipe in your washroom or in your kitchen and then water flows out, you don't put garland in the water and say, oh pipe, how wonderful you are giving me water. The pipe is not giving you water, the water is coming from the tank. So glorifying the guru beyond a point is something which is against the Indian spiritual tradition. Who is to be glorified is Ramakrishna, who is the Jagat Guru. And Sri Ramakrishna himself did not like the word guru. He said the supreme power, Divine Mother alone, is the person who can give you spiritual knowledge. And therefore, in our tradition, the individual guru is always downplayed. It is a supreme guru, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. That means that supreme guru, who is the Guru Maharaj as Sri Ramakrishna, he alone is the guru. So Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya, Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyodhyaya, Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyodhyaya, and so on. The name of the chapter comes last. So I repeat, Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat is an important phrase which is used in the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita talks about it. Om Tat Sat. Tat is that. Sat is truth or existence. Om, of course, is Om. Om is not translatable into anything else. So Om Tat Sat is constantly used whenever you talk about something very auspicious, which is spiritual. So very constantly people use Om Tat Sat. So in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Upanishads, status of the Upanishad, which is the science of Brahman as well as the technology of Brahman, which is a dialogue between man and God, this particular chapter is the first chapter, second chapter. Now, each chapter is called a yoga. This is another very striking feature of the Bhagavad Gita. Yoga means union. Yoga also means meditation or samadhi. It comes from the yuju dhatu. Dhatu is a verbal root which has two meanings. There are several other meanings also. Predominantly the two meanings. Yujur yoge, yujo samadho. In the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Yoga's chittavritti nirodha, it is not the idea of union which is taken, but samadhi. Samadhi means the supreme realization, a state of mind in which the mind becomes completely quiet. No waves arise in the mind. The mind actually becomes no mind at all. Suppose you say there is an ocean without waves. Then there is no ocean at all. It's a lake. So the mind completely is devoid of waves, thoughts. That means no mind at all. You are in a state of samadhi. So yoga, the word is used for every chapter in the Bhagavad Gita. And most interestingly, it begins with a peculiar kind of yoga which is unknown in the history of religion elsewhere. What is that? Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna, the hero of the Gita, who is the representative man, Nara Rishi, terribly depressed. Nowhere in the spiritual literature we find depression yoga. Depression is also a kind of yoga. Do you know why? From tremendous depression, deep thoughts arise and you get vairagya, you get dispassion for the world, and spirituality awakens. Sorrow alone can kindle man's thirst for something higher. Sorrow is called in Sanskrit shoka. When Valmiki pronounced his first sentence, it came out as a shloka or a verse. Somebody said, oh, shoka has been transformed into shloka. Shoka shlokatvam agata. His sorrow was transformed into a verse. So you can always see, unless you are deeply upset about something, deeply depressed, you will never come to religion. So you don't have to invite sorrow, but sorrow will come to you. Sorrow comes to everybody. It came to Arjuna in a big way, and people are extremely sensitive, feel it very acutely. This is the problem with spiritual people. All of you will vouch for it. Before you started coming to spirituality, the Vedanta society, before you started meditating, before you had the mantra diksha, all of you are reasonably well off. You are happy, and then the moment you begin to meditate, you become sensitive, your mind becomes purer and purer, and you just can't tolerate certain bad thoughts come and affect you. It is just like if you wear a black cloth, any amount of dirt will not be visible. If you wear a white cloth, even a small spot, immediately, there's a spot there. So the mind becomes more and more pure. It will be immediately contaminated, affected by any disturbing, unspiritual thought. So Arjuna, for example, being a highly sensitive human being, being compassionate, endowed with all great human qualities, suddenly found himself entirely depressed. The story of depression, all of you know. Kurukshetra war was about to begin. In the battle of Kurukshetra, Kurukshetra is the place. The cousins, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, they were fighting each other, a war for a specific purpose. The Pandavas were 5 in number. Arjuna is the Senapati, is the army general. He is leading the battle. Now the first chapter, for example, Arjuna is showing great valor in the beginning. If you look at the language, Arjuna tells Sri Krishna, 21st verse, Senayor ubhayor madhye ratham sthapayame achyuta. Hey Achyuta, hey Krishna, take my chariot and place it betwixt the armies. Could you get the 21st verse?
I have it.
Ubhayor madhye senayoho, Sena is the army. Between these two senas, place my chariot. Yavadetan niriksheham yuddhukaman avasthitan kair maya saha yuddhavyam asmin ranasamudyame. I want to see who are the people here who have assembled here to fight me. Kair maya saha yuddhavyam. Look at the valor. Look at the courage. I want to see who are the people who have come here to die at my hands. Come on, show me. Place the chariot in between. Then Sri Krishna, of course, Krishna was considered a very mischievous person, because Krishna takes everything so sportingly. If he can simulate and emulate this attitude of Krishna, life will be so joyful. He is absolutely calm, absolutely unperturbed by everything, and takes everything as a big leela. You know what he does? He could have taken the chariot. He was commanded by Arjuna to take the chariot and place it between these two armies. He could have placed it elsewhere. Then straight he takes him, 25th verse, Bhishma Drona Pramukhataha Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam. He takes it and places it where Bhishma and Drona are present. Bhishma and Drona are two great teachers who taught Arjuna archery. Arjuna was groomed, blessed, and taught archery, the weaponry, the entire warfare Arjuna received at the hands of the two great acharyas, Bhishma and Drona. They were on the other side now, and therefore Arjuna's task it was to fight them and kill them. My own teachers. So Sri Krishna quietly took the chariot and put them just in front of Bhishma and Drona. Very mischievously perhaps. He could have placed it elsewhere. Bhishma Drona Pramukhata Sarvesham cha Vikshita. Then what did he say? Uvacha, he said, Partha, O Arjuna, Pashyayetan, see who are present before you. Samavetan kuru niti. Then the moment Arjuna saw Bhishma, Drona, Acharyan, Matulan, 26th verse, Acharyan, Matulan, Bhratrin, Putran, Pautran, Sakhims tatha, Shushuran, Suhrudaschaiva Senayor, Upayorupi, Tan Samikshasa Kaunteya Sarvan Bandhun Avastitan, Kripaya Paraya Vishto, Vishidan Nidamam Pravid. He saw his own kinsmen, my own people, my own Acharyan, my own teachers, my brothers, my children, and my grandchildren. All of them are so dear to me. And having seen them, he was overwhelmed by what he thought was compassion or pity. This is the punchline here. Kripaya paraya vishto, 27th, 28th verse, overwhelmed by compassion. Swami Vivekananda interprets this verse. All of us think that we are compassionate and therefore we deal with people in such a way in which the softness and weakness flows. Our weakness masquerades as compassion. We cannot fight evil and therefore see, I am very soft. Usually I don't want to get into this kind of an argument. Let it go. I am very soft and spiritual. So we call it compassion, we call it pity, actually rank weakness. Bhagavan will point out. Then he says, Drishtvevam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupasthitam, 28th verse. Mark this word swajana. Swajana means one's own people, one's own kith and kin. This word occurs in Arjuna's lamentation 4 times. Before Arjuna came to kill these enemies, he came as a warrior. He came as a senapati or the chief of the army. He came with so much of valor. He came with tremendous courage to fight. The moment he saw, they are my people, immediately he was overwhelmed by pity. Bhagavan Shankara, the great commentator, the Bhashyakara says, why did Bhagavan Krishna give this highest teaching of the Atmavidya to Arjuna who was depressed? What do you do to a depressed person? You give him medicines, antidepressants. Take him to a psychiatrist, give him some energy drink and check his blood pressure, put him to rest. You don't go to a depressed person and says, you are the infinite self, I will give you Atmavidya. I will give you a teaching about that. Shankara raises this question. And what are the symptoms of this depression? Graphically it is described. Sidanti mamagatrani mukham japarishishyati, 29 verse. Vepathuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandevam samsade hastat tvakchaiva paridakhyate natashaknom yavasthatum brahmati vachame manaha. Can you read the meaning, Prashant?
My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hands, and my skin is burning.
These are all symptoms of high blood pressure. My skin is burning, I can't stand still. I'm reeling, I'm about to fall down. Why? Just because they are my own people. Then, again he says, 34th verse, Acharya pitarav putras tathaiva cha pitamaha matula shushurav potras shala sambandhinas tatha etan nahantu michami ghnadopi madhusudana. Read the meaning.
O Krishna, of what value are kingdoms? What value is living for happiness if they are for whom? For our kingdom. Material pleasure and happiness is desired.
34. Acharya pitarav putra.
24.
They are my acharyas, they are my fathers and they are my grandfathers, they are my putra, they are my kith and kin. Etanna hantum ichchami. Oh Krishna, Etanna hantum ichchami, Knatopi Madhusudana is crying. He will say later on, if tears are flowing down his cheeks, even if I am killed and torn to pieces, I will not be able to kill them because they are my own. Acharya Shankara here says, what has happened to Arjuna? Look at the psychological state of Arjuna. He came to the battlefield with the idea of to fight, and the words of valor, come on, place my chariot betwixt these two armies. I want to see who are the people who have come here to get killed at my hands. Suddenly he sees, my own people, Acharya, Matula, Putra, Pautra, my teachers, my kith and kin, my sons, my children, my grandchildren, my fathers, my grandfathers. No, I can't kill them. Swajana, my own people. Shankara here makes a very interesting statement. I will just read out the original. I brought this book, big book for your sake. This is Shankara's Bhashya. In the introduction he says, Tathahi Arjunena Rajya Guru Putra Mitra Suhritsu Swajana Sambandhi Bandhaveshu Aham Esham Mama Yete Iti Evam Pranti Pratyaya Nimitta Sneha Vichedadi Nimitto Atmana Shokamoho Pradarshitau. So Arjuna is overwhelmed by two ideas. Aham Esham Mama Ete. I am theirs and they are mine. So two ideas stand out. This is the whole essence of the Gita. Aham Mama. Aham is I, Mama is mine. You know what is Aham? The I. What is the I?
Ego.
Where is it?
It's in all of us.
Where? Where is your eye? It's in the head. Where is your feet? Down below. Where is your stomach? In the middle. Can you locate the eye?
It's all over. In the mirror.
It is where you feel it is. I didn't see you yesterday, you didn't come. Oh, I had a terrible toothache, I was not well. You were well, your teeth were not well. But the eye identifies with the teeth and said, I am not well. How are you? Oh, I'm not at all feeling well. Why? That fellow insulted me yesterday in the pulpit. So I feel depressed in mind. Identifying with the mind, I think I am not well. The eye identifies with the body, identifies with the parts of the body, identifies with the buddhi, identifies with the mind. And series of identifications the eye is making all the time. Now, just think about this. Can the eye stand alone without identification? Just spend a few minutes thinking about this. I say I. The I has to be identified with something or the other to be able to say I. So I is always relational. This important idea we get from Vedanta. I is also relational. I, if it is isolated, it dies. I can't stand alone. I has to somehow get hooked on to something, and through that hooking on and linkage, through relationship, I actually survives and thrives. So relationship is called in Sanskrit as sambandha, and Sanskrit grammar says sambandhe shashti. Sambandha, whenever you want to have relationship, you have the sixth case. So mama is the sixth case of aham, mine, I and mine. Oh, these two always go together. The moment you get rid of I and mine, you are liberated. So simple. What is liberation? What is mukti? What is spiritual emancipation? To get rid of the idea of I and mine. This can happen in two ways. The Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures teach this. One is by erasing your I. Whenever I say, I did this, did you do this? No, I didn't do this. It was done by a divine power in me. Take a simple example. So many of you are here. Suppose lunch has to be cooked. You have electric heaters everywhere, you have electric cooker. You put all the ingredients and switch it on, and half our food is ready. So, I'm so tired, I had to cook for so many. Did you do the cooking? Or did the electricity do the cooking? If electricity did the cooking, electricity should be tired, not you. God's power is flowing through all of us, and that power is making me speak. When I'm speaking to you, whose power is it making me speak? Power of prana? What is behind the power of prana? There's some divine power which is animating all of us we are moving, we are talking, we are eating. All of them are being empowered to us. We are being powered by something which is behind us. So if God's power is working, and God should be the most tired man, but he is not tired. Have you thought of God becoming tired and sleeping off? No. If God slept off, the Bhagavad Gita says, the whole world would go to pieces. Yadi hyaham navarteyam jatu karman atandritaha. Atandrita. Tandra means sleep, dozing off. If the Lord suddenly dozes off, the whole world will go to pieces. So he is ever awake so that we can sleep off happily. Just like the mother puts the child to sleep, constantly looks after the child. So the Lord puts the entire universe to sleep, and he looks on without sleep. So why should we be tired at all? So spiritual people never become tired because some other force is acting through them, and if at all they have to be tired, that spiritual power has to be tired, but it is never tired. So we say we are doing it, but we cannot do anything at all. If you switch on the electricity and food didn't get cooked, there is nothing you can do about it. We say we are talking. Oh Swami, you talked so well. Did I talk? Some words which are there in my brain stored up, they suddenly triggered off. Some neuron connections take place. They may not take place also. In old age, connections don't take place. Then they come to the mouth, and the tongue, which is a very soft person, extremely soft being, it is rotating in the mouth, which is full of hard teeth, in such a way that the sound comes out. And the sound enters your ears, vibrates the tympanum, and the tympanum passes on it through the nervous system, reaches your brain, and you interpret it. All this happens because of some mysterious power. We don't know how it happens. Who triggers this? Who makes this happen? At every point, when you digest your food, do you digest your food? Have you ever heard anybody, I apply for one day leave. You go to your boss, sir, I want to take a day off. Because I've eaten so much, I want to digest it. You don't digest your food. Your food is being digested by something else. You call it the power of God. If you don't believe in God, the power of Prakriti, power of nature. The moment you put your food inside, some chemical reactions take place and the food is digested. And you have no control over them. Up to this you have control. The moment it goes, oh, I ate the wrong food, stop, don't digest. You can vomit it out. You can vomit out, but you can't stop digesting it. Immediately reactions begin. So the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, I digest your food sitting in your stomach. Aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita pranapana samayukta pachamyannam chaturvidham. I, remaining in your digestive system, alimentary canal, with the help of all these various pancha pranas, I digest your food. And have you ever imagined? The Lord becomes our scavenger every day. The infinite and the absolute being, compassionate Lord, the all-merciful, becomes your scavenger every day, enters your intestines, cleans them, so that you can again fill your stomach with bad food. He never asks you, oh, my child, you ate all kinds of stuff yesterday, I had a hard time cleaning them. Don't do them anymore. He doesn't say that. Go on, you are my child. Go on making mistakes, I will pardon you every time. So why don't we raise our heart in prayer and say, oh Lord, how compassionate you are, thanks. This is religion. This is meditation. So at every point of your body, even the solar system, who is making the sun planets move? When we were children, we used to be terribly afraid. We were taught the earth is moving around the sun and moving around itself. Think of the motion. And it's slightly, axis is slightly bent because the seasons come. So look at the sun like this, keep on rotating and then go like this. We used to try it. After 3 rotations, you'll become unconscious. The earth has been doing it for thousands of years. And this moon is going around the earth. What a complicated motion. We used to ask the teacher, sir, suppose there's a small miss. The moon will come and dash against the earth with tremendous speed. Nothing is going to happen. Don't worry. Why should you not worry? Because the entire thing is taken care of. By whom? You call it nature, you call it Prakriti, or the ruler of nature who is the divine being which makes everything possible. The fear of the great one, all the planets are moving in their courses. Bhayadasyatmas agnistapati bhayattapati surya bhayadendrascha vayuscha mrityur dhavati panchamaha katopanishad. Or the fear of this great one, the sun is moving in its own course. Suppose nobody is watching you, sometimes you play truant and work. You keep on sweeping the floor. Suppose nobody is watching, or somebody take all the dirt and put it there. It happens in India. Nobody is watching and then litter the ground, then walk away. But the sun and the moon, they can't do this. Nobody is watching. Let me take rest for some time. Your heart, look at the heart. So I used to think about all these peculiar things and became a sannyasi. If you think of all the peculiar things, you have to become a monk. Think about your own body. Think about the heart. They say the heart is pumping 72 times a minute. You know that?
Yes, sir.
You put out your hand. 72 times you do. After 2 minutes, there will be swelling there. This is what the heart has been doing since you are conceived in the mother's womb, till you are being burnt in the funeral pyre. Maybe 90 years, maybe 100 years, maybe 80 years. Not a moment's stop. I am tired, I am going to go on leave on a vacation. The heart doesn't say that. If the heart applied to the Lord for just a 5 minutes vacation, all of them. Why is it? Have you ever thought why the heart is not feeling tired unless become very old and the heart is becoming weak? Normally we don't feel tired. You know why? Because we don't have any feeling that I am pumping the heart. It is being operated by some other force. We do not know what. So the moment the eye is attached to something, you become extremely tired. All the misery comes when you attach the eye to something. So the whole Gita teaching from the very beginning, aham yesham mamayete, I and mine, delink the entire thing, the I from everything. As I said, 2 ways. One is erase your I. It is not the I, the Lord is doing it. That's called the path of bhakti or devotion. Not I, O Lord. Naham, naham. Not I, not I, not I. The Lord is doing everything and the Lord do. And the Lord is never tired. He's going on pumping the hearts of hundreds of thousands of billions and trillions of beings. The whales we saw in the sea world, constantly their heart is also pumping. They are also moving here and there. Who is moving? Who is animating the entire universe? Right from the suns and the moons and the stars and the nebulae and the subnuclear particles and the subatomic particles and the atoms and the molecules and the nucleons and the electrons and all the functions of the human body are the bodies of all beings. Who is in charge? Who is handling all this? We do not know. There is some power which is animating the entire universe, and that is taking care of everything, and it is doing its job very well. Not a single, even a moment's fallacy, the entire world will go to pieces. How is it that it is able to do it without a single fallacy. Even the millionth of a second it can't miss. How does it able to do this? So that divine mysterious power is in wonder. You see, oh, what a wonder. This wonder is called religion. You know who said this? Einstein. It's not my statement. Einstein said, my religion consists of a humble adoration of an illimitable intelligence which our dull faculties can comprehend only in the most primitive form. It's such a wonder. In another place he says, the most sublime and the most wonderful emotion one can, most beautiful emotion one can feel is the sensation of the religious or the mystical. It is truly the source of all science and arts. To know what is impenetrable really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty, which we can comprehend only in the most primitive form. This is the source of all religion. To stand and wonder in rapt awe, and to know this kind of force exists. You may not be able to understand it, but you can feel it. Just look at your heart and how the whole thing is functioning. All of us are sitting here. Why is it that the gravity is not pulling the blood down? How is the blood going up? We don't think about these questions. When you're sitting like this, the blood is moving in its own way. I asked a doctor, I had thrombosis of both the legs some years ago. Then the doctor told me there are innumerable hundreds of thousands of billions of micro valves attached to each of these veins, which will allow the blood to go one way and not the other way. Hundreds of thousands of them. So blood will go up, will not come down. If some of them are damaged, you have valvular malfunctioning, valvular incapacity. Your legs will swell and you may suffer from thrombosis. Every limb of the body is taken care of. Every part of the body, the reproductive system. How is a child conceived in the womb? What a mystery it is. How is the digestion is taking place? How respiratory system, take any system of the human body. We saw the polar bear and the whales and the penguins. At what temperature they are being maintained? The minus Celsius, they are kept warm. Who is keeping our body warm? Whatever be the temperature outside, your body temperature is being maintained exactly at that temperature for hundreds of thousands of billions of trillions of beings. Who is in charge of all this? A person who cannot wonder and stand in rapt awe, Einstein says, is as good as dead. And this cosmic religious feeling, he says, is the source of all scientific discovery. So you see the whole thing and in wonder you ask, who is doing all this? The moment you say, I am doing this, and usurp what belongs to God, steal it away, there will be tight slaps on your cheek, and you suffer. All sorrow begins when you steal away the glory of God in part and say, I did this. You can't do anything. Nothing is possible for you to do. The only thing you can do is to surrender your little ego and say, oh Lord, you please operate through me, I don't know. Memory. How is it that the brain is able to remember so much? Who makes it possible? At every point of the human system, subhuman system, subatomic particles and the celestial beings, as well as the inanimate system, everywhere there's the fingerprint of God. The signature of God is there everywhere. The signature of God is called in the Bhagavad Gita, the Vibhuti Yoga, the 10th chapter. 10th chapter tells you, you see, you are looking for God's glory. I will tell you, where are all my signatures? My signature is everywhere, but I'll give you some specific examples where you can clearly see my signature. The Vibhutis are glories of God. There is another way by which you can erase the ego. Make the ego so big that it encompasses the entire universe. Your individual ego becomes one with the collective, the cosmic ego. That's called the path of jnana or knowledge. Girish Chandra Ghosh is a Bohemian disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He once said, the Mahamaya, you know Mahamaya? Mahamaya is the divine mother who deludes all beings. The Hindu parlance says, Hindu religion says, that you are being deluded, it's not your fault. That's a good way of putting it. The Mahamaya comes and deludes you and puts you in bondage, in confusion. Why does she do this? It's fun for her. She wants the play to go on. So the Mahamaya came with a huge net to put beings in bondage, to catch beings. It could not catch two people. One is Narayana Swami Vivekananda, who became so big, so vast, infinitely big, so that the net couldn't catch him. Then it was too small for him. Another person, Durgacharan Nag Mahashaya, the famous householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, who became so small they escaped the net. The first is the path of knowledge. Soham, I am that infinite self. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. You assert your divine nature. I am that infinite vast entity. Aham Vrikshasya Reriva Kirti Prishtam Gireriva. Taittiriya Upanishad. I am the root of the entire world, and my glory is as huge as the Himalayan mountains. I am the vast infinite. In the infinite ocean of consciousness which I am, so many waves are rising, which are the worlds and the jivas. Mayyanantamaham bodho ascharyam jiva vichayah udyanti ghranti khelanti pravishanti svabhavataha. Ashtavakra Samhita. In me, who is like the infinite ocean of consciousness, hundreds of thousands of waves of beings and worlds are rising and falling. I am that infinite ocean. Swami Vivekananda once in America, suddenly at the end of the lecture he said, never forget the glory of human nature. Buddhas and Christ are but waves of the infinite ocean which I am. He struck his chest like that. That is the path of knowledge. You say, I am so vast, who can bind me? The other is the path of devotion, surrender. Oh Lord, I am nobody before you. The infinite, glorious, majestic Lord, who am I before His majesty? The majesty of the Lord overwhelms you in such a way, you just vanish into nothingness. My little ego simply gets vanished. It becomes tinier and tinier, tinier, completely gets erased. The path of bhakti, or path of sharanagati, or surrender. So the Shankaracharya says here, aham esham mama ete iti bhranti pratyaya nimitta. Because of bhranti, because of delusion, because of confusion, Arjuna got this idea, these people are mine, I am theirs, I and mine. So then what happened? He becomes depressed, full of sorrow. Sorrow gives you delusion. When you get completely sorrowful, deeply depressed, you suspect people. Have you seen extremely depressed people? They suspect you. You go to, don't come to me. I know you people are here to kill me. Somehow they get into paranoia and some peculiar ideas. Persecution mania. So depression, shoka, sorrow, gives rise to moha. Moha is delusion. Shoka and moha, when they overwhelm you, the only medicine that will cure it is Atma Jnana, the knowledge of the supreme reality of the self. So Shankara says here, Shokamoha can be removed, Shokamoho pradarshito, Abhibhuta Viveka Vijnana. What happens? Your Viveka, your discriminative faculty is overwhelmed, and what you normally do, how is it manifested? You can test it in the ordinary world. Suppose you become deeply depressed, deeply sorrowful, and overwhelmed by delusion, you immediately give up what you are supposed to be doing, your swadharma, and take to something which you are not supposed to be doing. Paradharma. This is another important idea in the Bhagavad Gita, which is very useful for the modern age. Swadharma and Paradharma. Swadharma, your own occupation according to your proclivity and tendency. Example, suppose I am a student. What is my job? What is my swadharma? To study well, pass the exam, and completely concentrate on what is the task in hand. Suppose a student goes out, starts serving in the slums and taking care of poor people, and why did you perform badly in the exam? Oh, I was concentrating on all these poor people in the area, so I couldn't study well. There is an escapism. To escape your study, you go to serve people outside. That's paradharma. When you are put in the job of serving people, at that time you begin to meditate here. I want to realize God. Usually we do this. When you are asked to meditate, we will go and serve people. When I serve people, no, I want to meditate. So find out what is your swadharma. The swadharma is a very, very tricky thing to know what is your swadharma. The Gita defines it very simply by saying that you have been put by God in a certain circumstance. So some of you must have come from India, some of you are born here, some of you are born elsewhere and then taken to this dharma and so on. Now when you are in a particular situation or a place, your swadharma is determined by the conditions of the place. The simple is, suppose you are driving along the road. When you are driving in India, we follow the British custom. We have right-hand drive, we drive to the left, keep to the left. In Europe and in America, you have left-hand drive, we keep to the right. Suppose you say, what is your swadharma as a driver? To follow the rules of driving. They don't use anything else. So, I am a spiritual person, so while driving, I'll try to meditate. Is meditation bad? Thinking of God, is it bad? No. But it is bad while driving. This is the simplest example of swadharma and paradharma. Swadharma of a driver is to drive well so that there are no accidents. And you are not supposed to meditate at that time. Suppose you go to the shrine, you go to the temple and you're asked to meditate. At that time, don't keep driving inside. Your swadharma at that time is to do that. So everybody is singing. At that time, don't close your eyes and try to meditate. Because your swadharma there is to sing. Suppose you are cooking for so many people. Your swadharma at that time is to cook well. Swadharma, whatever job comes to you at whatever point of time, to be able to do it well is swadharma. The fundamental teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, called the Karma Yoga, in which you do your job and do it well without attachment to the fruits of work and without the feeling that I am doing it. Phala visandhi. That is why Shankara says here, Phala avisandhi purvaka eva sahankara cha bhavati. If you, ahankara usually is accompanying work, I am doing this, and you want the fruits of work. Now there is a big question raised by people who study the Bhagavad Gita. They don't understand how can work be done without hankering for the fruits of work. Suppose you are cooking, obviously you will think you should cook well, you should taste well. I am doing it without any desire for the fruits, and therefore the food has become absolutely without any taste. Hari, why did you put so much of salt? I did it without expecting anything in return. So there is a big question mark here. This has been debated in India. There is a school of people called Mimamsakas. The Mimamsakas say the whole idea of Nishkama Karma is absolutely a wrong, useless concept. What motivates your work? Success? Suppose you tell a student, you study well and perform well in the exam, but don't worry about whether you'll pass or fail. The student is motivated because he wants to excel. So many people have asked me, what is the meaning of nishkama karma? Karma without any desire. I thought of a good example. Because now India, they're crazy about cricket, unlike in America. Cricket and cricket everywhere. From 95 to 100, how much does it take? Just 5 runs? 10 runs? Why is it that he is incapable of doing it? That's because the moment he reaches 90, he is worried about the century. I should score a century. I should score a century. And therefore, the concentration which he has to bring to bear upon each ball and play it under merits is lost. If he has been playing with the same amount of concentration which he had from 0 to 90, played each ball on its merit, then 90 to 100, 95 to 100 is only child's play. So this is called nishkama karma. What does it mean? While playing the game of cricket, don't look at the scoreboard. Then the students, now we understand. The moment you think, this exam I should write, I should get good marks, I should get good marks. Getting good marks is not the aim. Performing well in the exam is the aim, good marks automatically will come. If you play well, automatically you will get the score. Scoreboard will move up. You concentrate on the job on hand, do it well, the result has to follow because that is the law of causation. That's why religion, many religions, Zen Buddhism, Japan and China, they are very famous, Zen Buddhists. Zen master used to teach the students through a tea party. Zen Buddhistic idea is just to stay at the moment in which you are. Don't project to the future or go back to the past. The Gita talks about the nishkama karma in that sense. You just concentrate on the thing which is on hand. If you do it well, then leave it to the Lord. Don't believe in God, leave it to nature or whoever. When you are cooking, completely concentrate on the cooking and cook well. Don't worry about how the cooking will be appreciated or not appreciated by people. And if I cook well and people will say, oh, it's an excellent cook, what will be the prize I'll get? Nothing is going to happen to you. Then your cooking will become bad. Because you're moving into the future. There is an interesting story of a Zen master. He was teaching 4 students over tea. He told them, wash this cup for tea. They began to wash. He went to each one of them, the first student, why are you washing this cup? Sir, you asked me to wash this cup, sir. Good. Second student, why are you washing the cup? Because the cup was dirty. Good. Third student, why are you washing the cup? To take tea. The fourth student, why are you washing the cup? I'm washing the cup because I'm washing the cup. You understand the meaning of this? I'm washing the cup not for something else, but because I'm washing the cup. If you say it is for something else, that something is in the future, which doesn't exist. And you are projecting a result from the present into the future and moving into that future without concentrating on the present. And the moment you move away from the present, the result becomes uncertain. So when you are in the present, just be in the present. So this is Vedanta. Vedanta says, these are very subtle meditations are practiced by highly competent people. Among the past, present and the future, the present is Brahman. If you can just stay put in the present without moving to the past or the future, you will be in the state of Brahman. Because time, what is time? Because clock is clicking. What is time? Time is a flow from the past through the present into the future, isn't it? The moment you move to the future, which doesn't exist, you are moving into an imaginary world. Or you go back to the past, which is dead, you are moving into the world which is gone. So the only thing which is true is the present. And the present alone can give reality to things. This is a very important statement. What can give reality, the real worth to something is the present. Suppose you have a memory, pleasant or unpleasant, and you think about it. What are you doing there? You are taking that memory into the present to be able to think about it. You are not going to the past. The past memory is being pulled to the present so that you can cogitate, think about this pleasantly or unpleasantly. Suppose you are thinking of the future, imagining the future. What are you doing now? You are taking the future possibility into the present to be able to think about this. So you are always doing everything in the present. The present alone is reality. The past is dead. The future is imagination. So what is real is the present. And the real is Brahman, or the supreme reality, which is the present. So Gita's idea of Karma Yoga, which will come in the 3rd chapter and the 4th chapter, is that you do it without worrying about what is going to happen, what fruits are going to come to you. Nishkama Karma Yoga it is called. Many people say, what is the motivation for work? There is an excellent verse here. Karmanya karmayah pashed karmanya karmayah sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krita. I'll tell you the verse number. 4th chapter, 4:18. A person who sees work and non-work, or non-work in work, he is a performer of total action. That is the meaning of this verse. Krishna karma is total action. How is it that you see work and non-work, or non-work and work? That means work is being performed by who? Who performs work? When I am working, cooking, driving, speaking, my body, mind. My body, my mind, my nervous system, my buddhi. But something beyond all this, behind, called the Atman, which is not performing anything, just looks on. So all the work which is happening is being witnessed by the Atman. So the Atman, if you identify with the Atman, you know I am not working at all. Now, what is the meaning of saying, you see non-work in work and work in non-work. Suppose I say, I am not going to perform anything. That's also a kind of work. Do you know why? The I which says I will not do becomes the agent of non-work. I shall not do anything. So not doing becomes a kind of doing, and I becomes the agency for that. So the sankalpa, or the volition or the will, which says I shall do, I shall not do, if this will is completely withdrawn, then only you are in a state of actionlessness. So Bhagavan repeatedly says in the Gita, you surrender to me completely through devotion, or realize yourself as the supreme self or the Atman, which is completely actionless. Either take the path of jnana or the path of bhakti, or better combine both. So the Bhagavad Gita always talks about a procedure by which you can completely remain steady. They call it the Sthita Prajna in the 2nd chapter. You become a man of steady wisdom. So many things are happening, but you are completely unmoved. You are unmoved because these things happen in spite of yourself. We just watch on. We are afraid if we do not participate in something, that work may not be done well. But I take it from you, you can try it for 6 months and tell me, if you become a non-participatory witness, everything shall go on well because Lord then takes care. Just like if you try to digest your food, then you always end up messing things up. Allow Lord to function. When you sleep, allow the Lord to put you to sleep. When you artificially induce it, again you can create a problem. Don't try to act and enter the jurisdiction of the Lord or Prakriti. The Lord says, I am taking care. Why do you want to battle with me? Allow me to function. So this is called a deep-rooted faith in the infinite power of God. Or, if you don't like it, then Gita has another way. The third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Karma Yoga, he gives 3 ways of doing work, which is very relevant for the modern age. One is, allow the Lord to function. If you are blessed with faith, if you have devotion to God, you are a blessed human being. Unfortunately, if you have overdose of so-called science and think that I don't believe in all this, you end up by being a psychological wreck. Of course, if you say I don't mind being a wreck, please go ahead. I don't mind. You have to believe in something. As I said, I think Vedas is saying this. See, you have to believe in something which is changeless. Now, let's argue this out. What is most fundamental? Change or changelessness?
Change.
Everything is changing. The Buddha said, there's nothing in the world does not change. Or I'm sitting here, every moment the body is changing. The cells are changing. Blood is flowing. Heart is pumping. Lungs are pumping in air and then drawing air in. The earth and the moon and the nebulae and the planets and the electrons are constantly revolving around the nucleus. Everything in the world is changing. Is there anything which is changeless? It could be yes or no. Or could there be any other answer? No. Suppose you say there is nothing which is unchanging. What are the consequences of this? Think about this. Suppose you believe and see, are convinced there is no entity in the world which is changeless. What will be the consequence?
Groundlessness.
You will become mad. You know why? Because there will be nothing on which you can pin your faith. After this whole day session, you go back home, you drive back home and see, where is my house? It was there in the morning. Oh, it has moved to somewhere else. It has changed. You believe that the house is going to remain there, and with that faith you have come here. Can you pin your faith in your wife or children, your boss, your occupation, your house? Nothing. Because all the time you are afraid everything may change. Which has happened yesterday. Everything has changed. Times are changing. He got the Nobel for it. Everything is changing. There is nothing which is not changing. That means your life will become absolutely meaningless. What brings meaning to life is something which is unchanging. I can't believe my wife and children because they may change tomorrow. For 10 years I think they will be all right. Well, who knows? So you will always be in perpetual fear and panic. What is the guarantee suddenly the roof will not collapse? Anybody sure of that? It could, theoretically. So always you are afraid. You can't walk. What is the guarantee you will not fall down? You can't walk in the street, you can't drive in the street. All the time you feel something may happen to you, some change may come to you. So philosophically, scientifically, you may argue it out. Psychologically, you cannot live in peace in the world unless you believe there is something which is unchanging. In the midst of all this change. Vedanta has a wonderful take on this. Everything is changing? Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Yes.
Now think of the entire universe in which everything is changing. Does the entire universe change?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Where will it change?
No.
There is nothing beyond this universe. See, think of the entire thing, including everything. Including whatever you can think of. That huge unit, where can it change? Because nothing else apart from this. So that whole cannot change. So Vedanta has one way of looking at the whole thing is, there is a whole huge Purna which admits some internal changes, but itself, the total itself cannot change. Where will it change? Where will it go? Suppose you say it moves from one place to there is no other place except it can move. That place is also included in this. I move from India to USA. Suppose India and USA together, if you take it, where can I move? Oh, I move to Europe. Suppose you take Europe also. No, I go to the Mars and the various planets. That also include. Include the entire cosmos in its entirety. That can't change. So there is some unchanging reality behind this change, which gives meaning to change. Change will have no meaning at all unless there is an unchanging entity with respect to which change is taking place. So Vedanta swears that there is an unchanging entity which will give meaning to change. If constantly everything is changing, then you will become mad. Have you heard the story of Professor Wiener? Professor Wiener was a great mathematician at MIT in USA. He was a very powerful mathematician. The story is he used to forget many things, as professorial forgetfulness, absent-minded professor. So he changed houses once. So his wife told him, you see, don't go drive back to the old address. This is the new address, this is the new telephone number. Put it in your pocket, don't forget. No, I will not forget, put it in his pocket. Went to his office only to, just a brilliant mathematical idea occurred to him. He was frantically looking for a piece of paper, got one in his pocket, scribbled in the back, and found out that will not work. In disgust, he threw it away. Evening, once again, he drove back to the old place. Then, my wife told me in the morning, I have the address, gone. Then suddenly a bright idea struck him. Being a professor, Professor Wiener is so well known, there will be somebody in the locality who would tell me where he has gone. A small girl was standing there. He went to her, my dear, can you tell me where Professor Wiener has moved? The girl smiled and said, Dad, Mom knew you will forget. And therefore she has put me here. Later in life, her daughter was interviewed with the television and asked, is this true? She blushed and said, oh, he was not that bad. That means he was reasonably bad. So if things keep changing, you have no sanction at all in life. You have to go on with the belief there is something which is unchanging. Whether you like it or not, there is a deep-rooted faith within you. There is something which is unchanging, and all the change is taking place with respect to that change. This is a psychological necessity without which life will lose completely its very meaning. Existence will become meaningless. And this entity which you call the changeless entity, you call it the Atman, you call it Brahman, you call it God, or you call it by any name. Sri Ramakrishna has a very simple, so all the philosophy we talk about, Ramakrishna put it in such a simple language. I'll narrate in my own way. We are running an institution. We need money to run it, of course. Somebody promised you a huge amount of money. You please come to me tomorrow, I'll give you a check. So you go and watch there. He's taking the checkbook and writing something. You watch carefully what he's writing. He puts a zero, another zero, another. Well, just waiting. Fourth zero become impatient. Sir, what are you doing, sir? He puts one and smiles before that. Sir, put some more zeros. What has happened here? 0 and 0 and 0 and 0 add up to 0, but the one before it, all the zeros get their value. That one is God, that one is the Atman or Brahman, and zeros are the world. So the world itself has no meaning except with the one. And the one also has no meaning without the zeros. So this is what the Bhagavad Gita calls in the 13th chapter as a Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Kshetra is the world of relativity which we see, including the body. Kshetrajna is the Atman or God or Brahman. And both of them together make for the entire world. You can't wish away this world as meaningless or changeful, nor can you wish away God saying that God doesn't exist. So you need both of them together so that you will get meaning for life. See, the Bhagavad Gita therefore says, one way of doing work in the Nishkama spirit without looking for the fruits of work is to believe in God. Suppose you are endowed with that kind of faith, a changeless entity, He is the supreme ruler, you surrender to Him, oh Lord, I am doing all this. Ishwararpana buddhi, Sri Rama Krishna Arpana Mastu. I surrender all the fruits of work to God and do my work. Why do I surrender my fruits? I have done my work. Why should God take it? Because God has done it through you. Remember, you would not have any capacity, any power to do it unless God has done it through you. It belongs to Him, and temporarily you can keep it for yourself, but ultimately it belongs to Him. So that which belongs to Him, you can't steal it away and usurp it, and if you do it, you will be punished. It is not yours, it's God's. Just like a cashier in a bank. He deals with millions of dollars in a day, but he knows every pice has to be accounted. If he cannot tally at the end of the day, he will be in jail. So he deals with all this. So Ramakrishna says, live in the world, my child, my daughter, my wife, my children, my car, my property, my wife and my bank balance, say all that. But know in your heart of hearts, nothing is yours. He has put you here, He has given you all this, and you are only a trustee who has become temporarily or in charge of this. That's all. That's one way. Because you are offering to God what actually belongs to Him. He has given you power, He has empowered you to be here, and temporarily you are in charge of this. If you don't believe in God, if you say that's God, etc., it's a kind of temperament. It is not that you don't believe. Everybody believes in something, but temperamentally you are more supposed to be rationalistic and knowledge-oriented. Then you take the idea that I am the Supreme Self, I am the Atman. The body, mind and senses, they are functioning. I am the Supreme Witness of everything. Is it a mere belief? Is it a mere thought? No. What happens in deep sleep? Vedanta and all those religious scriptures in Hinduism base themselves on direct experience. Remember this. Nothing which is metaphysical or philosophical or psychological, nothing. It is not philosophy, it is not psychology, it is not theology, it is just pure experience. Analyze your experience. Now I am sitting and talking to you and listening to me. Then after some time you go to sleep, not while listening, because everybody is awake. Then you dream. You create a world of your own. And when you go to deep sleep, nothing exists. What is your experience in deep sleep?
Peace.
You feel some joy?
Peace.
Peace and joy are almost the same. The Bhagavad Gita says, Ashantasya kutas sukham. If you have no peace, you can't have joy. And the other experience, I didn't know anything. Oh, I slept so well. I didn't know anything. I slept very happily. The joy and ignorance. These are two experiences which you have. Question. How did you know you were joyful? Who was there to record that joy? Because you come and say that I slept well. So Vedanta says, therefore, you have to infer that if somebody was watching you sleep and that somebody was recording all this, in the morning he comes and tells you that you slept well. So what is that I which vanished completely but was watching your deep sleep experience? Your waking state experience is contradicted in dream and both are contradicted in deep sleep. So which is real? Either all of them are real or all of them are unreal. You can't say one is real, the other is unreal. I think it was Bertrand Russell who said, if you are awake for 12 hours in a day and dream for 12 hours, can you say which is real and which is unreal? I'll tell you a story. This story is from King Janaka. Janaka was a great king, as you know. He was a highly enlightened king. Suddenly Janaka wakes up from sleep and cries, oh, don't kill me, don't kill me. Then his wife, everybody came running. What has happened to you? Wakes up and says, then keeps on repeating only two sentences, like mad. Is that real or is this real? Is that real or is this real? So many psychiatrists were called, doctors were called, physicians were called, neurophysiologists were called. Nothing happened. The king went on repeating, is that real or is this real? They didn't know how to cure him. Then the great sage Ashtavakra came. Then said, what has happened to the king? The king suddenly woke up from perhaps a bad dream. Since then is constantly saying, is that real or is this real? Is that real or is this real? Ashtavakra said, I will talk to him. Then I called the king aside and said, oh king, when you dreamt that the enemies came and attacked me, they were about to kill you, did all this exist? No. Now, when I am talking to you, all these people are caring for you. Did the enemies who came to kill you in dream, do they exist? But no. Now, at that time, when you dreamt that the enemy is going to kill you, did you exist? Of course I did exist. Now, when we are talking to you and then trying to rehabilitate you, do you exist? Yes. Then you alone are real. So that I, which exists in deep sleep, in dream and in waking state, watching over all of them, not participating in any of them, the non-participatory, supreme, the witness of everything, that I is your real entity. This is Vedanta. This is knowledge oriented. You can analyze your experiences and feel that there is some I which is like a witness, not participating in anything, but allowing things to happen. Another example which is given, suppose you are in a cinema house. Nowadays, of course, cinema houses are gone. We have only televisions now. And even that is gone. You have computers. Even that is gone. You have only the Android phones. Suddenly there is a fire in cinema. You don't ask for fire engines to come and quench the fire. There's a flood. You don't get panicky. Sometimes during cinema you get so moved. People weep also. Suddenly the lights go off and then set the blank screen. Nothing is there. So the entire thing was being projected on a blank screen of the mind, and the light of consciousness which was projecting all that was animating everything. Nothing really happened. Nothing really happened. There was no fire, there was no flood. There was only a blank screen on which these things were simply moving around and back. So that screen is a non-participatory something. Another example. We are part of Hollywood now. You know what are premiere shows? The first show of any film, usually it is projected on to the actors and actresses, just to give them a feel of how they have acted there. In a very tragic scene, extraordinary tragedy, everybody is weeping, and the person who has acted in the tragic scene, crying profusely in the cinema, is watching that, smiling, and drinking his lazy cup of tea. This action I have excelled myself. You are smiling that you are weeping. Can you do that? When you feel deeply upset and sorrowful, oh, Swami, I enjoyed my sorrow. I became so upset. Excellent upset I was. Can you say that? Vedanta says it is possible because you are not upset. Your body is upset, your mind is upset. And your buddhi is upset, but you are not upset. Oh, what a wonderful sorrow I passed through yesterday. I was so terribly and wonderfully depressed. Because you watch yourself going through all this. You are that unchanging, non-participatory witness self. This is called Sakshi Chaitanya in Sanskrit. Sakshi is the witness, Chaitanya is the consciousness. You are the Sakshi Chaitanya going through all this. So all the work that you do are being done by Prakriti, nature, of which your body, your mind, your buddhi, everything is a part. Allow it to go on. You are non-participating. This is another way in which you can do Karma Yoga. The Jnana way in which you identify yourself as the Supreme Self, non-participatory witness self, allow the body and mind to function. Or in the Bhakti way, surrender to God and say, God is functioning through me. Suppose you want neither. It's very interesting. Only Bhagavad Gita gives this insight. Suppose I don't believe in Atman, all that is Vedanta I don't like. In America, shrug your shoulders to show your displeasure. Don't like it. Then God, all that. I'll have nothing to do with God. Then what do? Gita says, all right, there's a third way. I don't believe in God. Do you believe in nature's laws? Of course you have to. If you don't believe in nature's laws, you will be called unscientific. If you believe in God, you are considered hopelessly religious. If you don't believe in nature and its laws, you will be called an unscientific person. Tomorrow morning, the sun is supposed to rise at 6 o'clock. I have an important meeting at 6:15. So I go to bed with a bunch of candles. Why? Sun is supposed to rise at 6 o'clock. But you know, the work culture is degenerated so much, it may wake up half hour late. You will be called mad. Because nature has to exactly follow its laws. It can't violate its own laws. So if you believe in nature's laws, remember nature is doing all that through you. Every work that you do, Prakrite kriyamanani gunek karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma karta himiti manyate tattva vittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayoho guna gunesha vartanda iti matvana sajjate. Third chapter, 26, 27, 28. Read the meaning.
The wise should not create discord in the intelligence.
No, 27, 28, third chapter. 27, 28.
You click 26.
It was 26.
You missed which chapter?
Same chapter.
Third chapter.
Which verse?
27, 28.
Oh, 27, okay. All activities are being enacted by the senses of the material nature without exception.
Prakriti alone is functioning. So this is a very important idea in the Bhagavad Gita. Prakriti vaja karmani gunak karmani sarvashaha. Through the three gunas, the sattva, rajas and tamas, it is Prakriti which is acting. No scientist, no person worth his salt can deny this. Everything is being done by Prakriti. If you are convinced about it, then
But the unrealized, deluded by false identification of being the body, thus thinks, I am the doer.
yeah. So how do I get rid of the idea I am the doer? One is the path of devotion, as I said. God alone is the doer, I am not the doer. The other is the path of knowledge. I am not doing anything because I am the Supreme Self of the Atman. The third way, Prakriti is doing everything, I am not doing anything at all. Next line, next verse, 28. Tattvavittu mahabaho gunakarma vibhagyo guna gunesha vartanda iti matva na sajjate. How to get rid of sorrow? 28.
28. But, O mighty Argwan, a knower of the truth of the fruitive actions of the senses and their diverse functions, he observing that it is the senses engaging in sense objects does not become attached.
So when I open my eyes, I see these objects. Why should I say I am seeing these objects? So look at the fallacy. When I close my eyes, I don't see anything. When I open my eyes, I see this. My senses are engaging with sense objects. The Vishaya, the sense objects, engaging with the sense objects. Why should the eye saw this? I don't see. Senses are playing with the sense objects. There's a smell which is coming. 2 o'clock, feel hungry. I think, what is cooking there? Smell is coming, and my nostrils catch the smell, and why should I say, I am smelling something? You are not smelling. Senses, the nostrils, are engaging with the sense object, which is a smell. So I'm hearing a sound. I heard a beautiful piece of music. No. The music sound entering into ears, my ears, the senses, are engaging with the sound. I have nothing to do with Prakriti. So if you have that position, you can try these things, because you have to try it at home. When you go back for 6 months, you try. If I come back again, I'll ask you. Tremendous progress you can make through this. It is not a joke. Just observe this. When you get next time, why should I bother? Senses are moving with the senses. I have nothing to do with this. Suppose somebody insults you, calls you by names. You said that. Wait. Those sounds are entering my ears. My ears are engaging with those sounds. I have nothing to do with this. So the moment you get involved in that as the I, you create problems. Prakriti kriyamanani gunik karmani sarvasha ahankara vimodhatma karta ahamiti manyate. There's a fourth way. Post lunch. There's a fourth way of doing this. One is devotion, bhakti. The second is knowledge, jnana. The third is prakriti. That is the Sankhyan idea, which is suited for pure scientists who will have nothing to do with the Atman, nothing to do with God. There are so many people. For them it is most suitable. The fourth way, I don't swear even by science, or God, or by the Atman. The fourth is, you are participating in a cosmic yajna. The idea of yajna, we'll take it. Do we have post-lunch session? No.
What's that, right?
Post-lunch, do you have a session?
Yes.
So we'll take it up at that time. This is also a very, very important idea in the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd and the 4th chapter. The idea of yajna is a cosmic sacrifice. So if you can realize and feel that we are participating in a cosmic sacrifice, so everything is happening in the world as a kind of sacrifice. Simplest example is given in the Bhagavad Gita. I am talking to you, my sound is entering into ear as a kind of oblation. When I eat, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi, we chant, that is coming as an ahuti or oblation into my stomach. That is a kind of yajna. So every one of my actions can be converted into a yajna, into a sacrifice, and it is a participation in the cosmic sacrifice of the entire universe in which I am living and moving. You know the source of solar energy? Hans Bethe was awarded the Nobel Prize for this. The nuclear fusion. You know, nuclear fission, large nuclei breaking up into two, and the radioactivity emanates from that, energy emanates. It's called nuclear fission. Nuclear fusion is very tiny nuclei. Say the hydrogen nucleus is for a single proton. It combines and fuses to become the helium nucleus, and energy is released. So this is called nuclear fusion, which is the source of energy. But the Bhagavad Gita will say, think of the nuclear fusion as a kind of yajna. These protons, which are the hydrogen nuclei, offer themselves as a sacrifice in order to fuse them to become a helium nucleus, so that energy is liberated. So everything in the universe is a kind of cosmic sacrifice. And my individual participation in the cosmic sacrifice is what moves everything. So I don't have to have the idea of devotion to God or the idea of Atman as separate from the body and senses, or even the idea that Prakriti or senses are doing anything. So it's just stand up and watch the whole thing is moving as a cosmic sacrifice. We'll take it up next time in the post-lunch. The post-lunch, of course, to keep people awake is a big job for me.
But just probably 3 more minutes. So if there's maybe one question like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
if anybody wants to ask a question.
I have a question, Swami.
Go ahead,
This
please.
is a curiosity question, Swami. Why is the title comes at the end of the chapter rather than at the beginning? Because if it was at the beginning, then you would then you would know what the theme of the chapter was. But in Gita, it always comes at the end after.
You can put it in the beginning if you like. The Lord would not mind.
No, but is there a reason for it? I was just curious.
No. See, these are things which are added much later. The Lord did not put the chapter wise and would not even put the name there. People who have classified it put that name. If you put it at the beginning, you will be misguided into expecting something. So the Lord unfolds the idea.
So that's the reason.
Maybe. The Lord didn't do that anyway.
Well, there's a simple thing. There is a slope that for Jogo Kormosu Kausala. I don't know whether you deal or not. That has been translated in two ways.
Dexterity in work, that's not translated.
Is the yoga. But if you say that dexterity, the skillfulness in work is yoga, then a surgeon who is doing the surgery or an engineer is yogi. He may, but he may not be yogi because he may have.
So the idea is, it is not the efficiency or the dexterity, it is the capacity to be able to do that karma without attachment to the fruits of karma. That is the kaushala. The kaushala or the dexterity or the skillfulness is the capacity to be able to do it without expectation of fruits of it.
Why don't you translate it the other way, saying that yoga is the kalmosa kausalam. The yoga is the dexterity for doing the work. If you do that, then you're putting the first yoga.
Even then, if you realize the spirit of what is karmasa kaushalam, what is the kaushala, what is the dexterity, what is the skillfulness? The skillfulness is the wakefulness which will psychologically make you realize that you are not doing it expecting the fruits of work. When the surgeon does the work, he just does it on the spot, concentrating on the job. Success will automatically come, he is fully concentrated.
But he is not a yogi.
He will be a yogi, provided he does it without expecting the fruits of work, without rewards, without expecting newspaper blazoning.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You said that the Gita is the dialogue between Narayan and God. Gospel is dialogue between God and man. Is there a time to read the Gospel and a time to read the Gita, depending upon emotion or depending upon when would you advise to read Gospel? When would you advise?
Anytime you feel like reading it.
Good answer.
See, every day you chant here and Hollywood everywhere. Nam namakare bahudha nija sarva shaktis tatra arpita niyamita smarane nakalaha. O Lord, such is your vast mercy that you have created so many names, put your power into those names, and there is no specific time or place in which you need to chant it. So anytime, anywhere. Okay. It's all a question of inclination. You feel like reading it, you read it. See, the human mind is so funny. Sometimes you feel like being devotional, sometimes you feel like being Vedantic, sometimes you feel like not doing anything and sleep off. If you feel like sleeping off, even that is good enough. Provided you remember that the Lord is looking after you when you are sleeping and you are sleeping in His lap. See, somehow connect yourself with the Supreme Being, something which is above the body and the mind. Somehow. You live an elevated life and think elevating thoughts. That's why the Vedanta is a beautiful statement. Asupte amrade kalam nayed Vedanta chintaya. Till you fall asleep, till you die, fill yourself with Vedantic thoughts, high thoughts. If you constantly develop the habit of filling yourself by the high thoughts, whatever you do, these thoughts will keep on coming. And when you open your talk to people, you communicate that. And it will be contagious. In fact, Ingersoll, it was who said, if I were God, I would make health contagious rather than disease. If somebody is healthy, come to him, you become healthy. So anybody coming to you should feel the elevation. Yeah.
Leila, can you ask your question? We have lunch already out and it's ready to serve.
I just wanted to say.
Yeah, please.
No.
When Arjuna finally resolves his dilemma, as I remember, Krishna says to him, think of me and fight.
Yeah.
You have to go.
Yeah.
You have to do this. is Krishna.
That's
Krishna
Krishna-
is representing God.
Krishna did not say you have to do this. Krishna said, in spite of me, you shall do this.
Yes.
Your dharma demands.
Your dharma. You are a Kshatriya and you will do it anyway. And you are trying to go against your green by taking to Paradharma rather than Swadharma, and that will upset you.
But Maharaj, in chapter
Yeah,
18,
later.
Ma Manuswa Yuddhu Cha, he is also
Yeah,
said that.
that's what she said.
That's what I said.
Anything else you have something to say?
No.
Oh, thank you.
but Maharaj, in chapter 18, when it concludes, the Lord says that I have told you everything that I need to tell you. Now it's up to you.
Yeah, that's a very clever way of saying, look at the previous verses. He says, I have told you all this. If you, out of egoism, don't listen to me, you shall perish.
That's right.
Next statement,
Yeah.
but I leave you to think about and do what you like. Who will do this?
Okay, my bad. Lunchtime, please come.
You threaten him with perishing and then say, give me democracy.